Hey everyone, so I'm pretty excited to learn about how you're feeling during the practice today with Balasana because it is different to a class. It's a more personal experience doing it at home, and you have the option to stay longer in the poses. And I think you can tune in to, what you're actually feeling in the poses more when you do them at home. So, take that time to explore, what it is you're feeling. And I don't mean just feeling the movement of a toe or a knee or whatever, but how you're actually feeling inside yourself with these postures because they are therapeutic. They are all designed to develop your alignment, strength, and flexibility, but they're all therapeutic. And it's exciting today or tomorrow or your next posture is another foundational posture, another fundamental posture in yoga, and that is the tabletop posture, often understood to be easy and maybe a transition pose that helps you transition between cat-cow and downward dog and even plank pose. But tabletop posture has a lot of variations that do more than just sit between other postures. So you're going to learn about that tomorrow, and I think you're going to be surprised because tabletop posture builds up a lot of core strength, and in doing so it actually builds up a lot of heat as well. It's very good for your upper arm strength, your shoulders, and so I warn you to pay attention to your shoulders as you go through this sequence because it can be very challenging on your shoulders. So don't push it too far. You will feel it also in your wrists, but again, I've sequenced the variations so that your wrists and your shoulders get a bit of a break between the postures, but just stay aware to what you're feeling there. It is in Sanskrit called Brahman asana. I'm tempted to say Brahmananasana. Brahmanasana. Brahma being table or board that you hold onto, and asana, of course, simply means posture. So Brahmanasana or tabletop posture has many variations, and I've really just putting forward some of the beginner level variations, particularly in the short version that I post here, because you can use that as preparation for another yoga practice. So you could go from using the short version here as preparation leading into sun salutes, and that could be a complete practice in itself. So these are, at the moment, we're looking at our preparatory postures, but they are also foundation or fundamental postures in the yoga practice. So I always use them at the beginning of a class as preparation for the class. So they're gentle stretches, but they can also be developed to be quite strong. And we have intermediate level and advanced level versions of these tabletop postures as well. So I'm going to, in the longer video, lead you towards some of those more challenging tabletop postures. And I really think they're fun because it is an arm balancing action, and our arm balancing postures, they're really playful. They help you explore the movement in your body with arm balancing. But they are challenging. And the good thing about tabletop, I think, when you're developing balancing postures, is coming to and from tabletop enables you to consolidate that balance, that feeling of stability on both sides of the body. And you're probably not even aware that you're working your core body when you do that, because we're always focusing on getting even action in the left and the right hands and the left and the right legs or feet. But it is a good preparation for more advanced balancing postures. And you will have the opportunity to try one or two of those here. And you'll see me having a bit of fun with it as well, because it's not something I've done for a long time, and it is very challenging. And so I find it very challenging as well. And you'll see how I manage that with steady breath. So it's a challenge to just maintain steady breath when you feel like you're losing your balance. But that's when you really need to keep that breath nice and steady. So conscious breathing throughout the practice, of course. And remember that we set that up always at the start of the practice by sitting in hero pose and spending 1 or 2 minutes just focusing on your breath before you proceed. Okay? So the other thing that's really essential about a tabletop that we take for granted, and I'll just remind you about when children learn to crawl. So they come onto all fours, and that is a significant developmental step for a cognitive process in their brain. So what happens when they get up onto all fours is not only do they suddenly realize that they can move in 3 dimensions after being on their belly on the floor, but what happens is that the bridge between the left and the right side of the brain, there's a bunch of nerves there that create a pathway between the left and right side of the brain. So when we're working in tabletop with the left and the right side of the body, we're actually strengthening that bundle of nerves between the left and the right side of the brain. So it's really good for your emotional balance and your mental balance as well as your physical balance. Now, tabletop posture also is a great therapeutic posture if you have any spinal injury or aching back, sore back, any sort of postural back issues, tense back, stiff back. All of these things can be alleviated with tabletop posture itself and tabletop variations. So, each of these sequences is a therapeutic sequence, and with the one posture, we can use that one posture to assist the recovery and rejuvenation of specific parts of the body. So as we proceed through here, you're going to start to identify parts of your body that maybe need a bit more attention. And just make a note of that, and at some stage let me know so that we can start to focus on postures and sequences specifically for your body, okay? So still early days here, you're still exploring some foundation postures this week, but each of these postures has a sequence, and at the end of the week, we will put these postures together in a sequence as well, so then it gets more interesting too. Okay, I think that I've just about covered everything that I want to cover here, and I am going to get you to prepare for today's practice by having a blanket handy, particularly if you're working on a hard floor. So I don't need a blanket when I'm working in the garage there with the sports mats under the yoga mat. And if you're working on carpet, you probably won't need a blanket either. But for your knees, in some of these tabletop variations, Ben, you probably have to have a blanket or a towel handy just to make it a bit softer on the knees, okay? You will also need a belt. If you don't have a yoga belt, then you can always use a scarf or even a normal belt that you would use on your trousers can be used today. And we're going to have a bit of fun with that later on. So Barman Asana it is today, and I will be providing the videos again with 3 breaths in each posture so that you can just listen to the instructions that I provide. You don't have to look at the video while you're practicing. And then once you get to the stage where you feel you don't need the instructions, that you know what you're doing, then try to do it just with a visual, just with the diagrams. And let me know how you went with downloading those diagrams. And I shall see you in class soon. And I shall see you here again tomorrow. Good luck, everyone, and have fun.